So in this interesting phenomenon of Eastern called philosophy or way of living, or some people refer to religion, so whatever they call it. So that the karma reincarnation is the kind of the biggest issues they're talking about. We truly believe that there's a life after life. There's a never ending. There's a cycle of the universe, just like everything in the universe. The planet, the tree, the plants, and the ghosts, even the day we experience. Daytime and nighttime. We just experience that cycle of the whole universe. It's our micro aspect of ourself, the physical body, is a lot different than the macro reflection of the universe. We are part of the cycle of the universe. We never die, actually. The universe is darkness, just opposite side of a light. There's no darkness. It's just we perceive that as a dark in the night. But if you do the other side of the, planet, you go to China, for example, it's a light right now, right? Over there, what's happened? It's a dark. These are just all our perceptions. They're just cycle of the universe to never end. So we look at that, so in order for us understanding what's the reincarnation, what it's all about. And sometimes reincarnation practice can become a very, very technical, or become part of their way of living, like I'll probably share with you before. In Tibet, you probably read autobiography of, what's the spiritual leaders of Tibet? Dalai Lama. Have you read his autobiographies?
Yeah.
Do you know how he was founded? And vaguely. Basically, it's one of the practical practice of reincarnations. When there's a previous Dalai Lama passed away in the Patala Palace in Tibet, put his head light on the little hot room. Every night, this Dalai Lama head moved towards the north. It doesn't matter where you put. For 7 days, they moved towards the north. And so their practices, that indicate the next incarnation in that direction, the north. So there's where a group of people start trekking towards the north, that direction, until they get to the little village right next to the temple, and where that previous Dalai Lama used to, pilgrimage in that area, and find the family. From the 2 years old or a year and a half, 2 years old, the boy, they walk in there. And the boy just climbed up this group of people to play the jewelries of a previous Dalai Lama used to have. Just start playing with it. They said, oh, this one must be possible, So anyway, so they went back to the the place in Lhasa, bring a lot of those previous used stuff, materials, and which is the Dalai Lama used before, and also brought the fabricated one, exactly same ones, to brought to the kids again. The kids only pick the real one to play with. The fake one, he just pushed away. So they recognize that's next Dalai Lama, where he was founded. So he took him back to the palace. So start prepare him, educate him, train him in that path of what he's incarnated to do, to expose more. So what I'm going to share with you is to the practical practice in this reincarnation, in some of the traditions becoming pretty much everyday life. Everyday life. No longer it's, like we're Western, so we don't know if we're going to be coming back. We're only going to be judged in the day of a death. So we either go to heavens or go to hills. So that's what this religious practice and most of the Western people are familiar with. But for Eastern philosophy or way of living, sometimes they don't even call it religion. It's called way of living. Whatever this terminology you can use for. So for reincarnation, it's who we are today. They say, why we're so different? So if you believe that, if you do not believe in incarnation, why we're so different? Even though you are born in the same family, you are so different from your brother, your sister, right? Even the twin brother, twin sisters, identical ones, they are different, right? It's why is that? Can you explain that to us? I asked the scientist in my university, my ski buddy, he's totally scientific oriented, He's, genetic biology, study that, and he does a lot of research in that area, and he truly believes in that aspect. I asked the question, how can you explain Einstein? Why is it different from his brother? Why Einstein become Einstein? Why his brother not Einstein? It's same genes, same family, and the same education. Why is that? Can you explain that? He's like, no, from a scientific point we can't. So who can explain? Here. Science we all know, modern science is evidence-based science. So if you can't see it, if you can touch it, it's not exist. We all know that it's not true in our personal experiences, right? So that's where the incarnation, that's a philosophy or this way of living come in place. We believe we are different because our karmic life different. What do we experience in the past happen to be experienced today. What we had done in the past is happen to be coming back to experience the part of who we are. Hopefully, we don't have coming back here again when we exhaust all the karmic accumulations. So we no longer coming back. Wait, hold on for a second. We don't have the coming back here anymore. Which is, those individuals will call this avatars, like a Buddha. Who else? Jesus, Krishna. You don't have to come back this sphere life to experience as a, Buddhists call the suffering, but we call the experience, right? We don't have to call the suffering, but it's the experience through our body, through the everyday life. So that's where, we can see where we are and where differences make seem. That's the words used here has a meaning, has a purpose. I use that word, exhaust, or let go. And eventually we don't have to experience the karma anymore. But in the yoga tradition, we have to realize it. In yoga tradition is slightly different from Buddhist tradition. Even though Buddhist tradition is derived from, pretty much the Hindu traditions, back in then, into the Vedic, and come stretching out. They're all from the Himalaya, all stretching out to different directions, all different, religious practices today, or spiritual practices of the East, all come from there. And you look at, we're talking about this, in terms of where we came from, where are we going? What is the purpose of our life? It's three fundamental questions. It's what, there's the Eastern philosophy trying to address. And then where Western philosophy is very difficult to address that issues. And so it means, where we came from, where are we going, and what purpose of this life. Why we came in a different form, different names, or different characteristics in this very life. Why we just, come here to experience this real life, to be the father, to be mother, to be the one has to so-called suffering because of the financial difficulty, because of, break up with a partner, has all the things we dramatic experience in life. Why somebody do that, somebody don't? Right? So why somebody is so rich? Somebody just always struggle for the money. And the explanation, so education does that. That's our Western way to looking at that. In the Eastern way, it's your karma. It's your karma. It's your karma, it's experience. It's no good or bad. It's just your karma to experience. So there's slight differences, in the yoga tradition, they say that karma is basically, it's not good or bad, it's a karma. And for Buddhist tradition, of course, moving into, there's a good or bad. Good or bad, who judge that? Our own mind, our own conditional cultural value beliefs. Really deep inside of, beyond the context of the culture, what's happened? Is there a good or bad? It's nothing good or bad, just they are. Maybe just mislocated somewhere.